back to our worked example and I'll show you what step 2 looks like. And this is the drug rehab project we looked at this morning. There it is, delivering their no more missed appointments and providing up-to-date information and reporting efficiently to funders. Now what step 2 asks you to do when you get back at base and these are your goals is notice these little links and say, yep, I can see these things all linked together, there's cause and effect there. But hang on a minute, some of these things I could take away as a group of goals and they actually belong together and maybe we could look at them as a whole system. So there's one, for example. They want to get over this problem with the appointments. They know they need an efficient booking appointment system and that will help that. And that will also help report on the efficient use of resources because they know exactly what they did, when and to whom. And they also know that if they got this working, maybe they could improve this, and this leads into that. What we call those, this is step 2, and we call that making key connections. And what it is it's recognising that specific goals here have very close connections with each other, and it would be valuable to look at those things in a group. Because we're not necessarily asking you to look at your whole organisation at once. Because if we do, you'll never finish. So we say, look at a group of key connections between goals. Right, I want to make sure you stay awake. I want you to actually try that now for 5 minutes on the Malcolm's project, actually, that we did this morning. So somewhere on your desk you have the example of the key connections. Yeah. And I want you to try and establish one key connection. If this is your organisation, have you all got a copy of what we did this morning? It's the one about the railway making it available to the etc. etc. Yeah. What I'd like you to do is take 5 minutes and think, if this was my organisation and I was going to analyse it in step 2 and I wanted to look at a group of processes, what's the one that I would choose? There are hundreds of key connections you can make. But if I wanted to analyse something to make this organisation work better, where would I make those connections? What would I choose? Now, if you're not careful here, everything connects to everything and you can end up with spaghetti junction. So try to concentrate on one that you think would really improve this organisation. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to look at that, and then we'll see what you come up with. I'll give you 1 or 2 tips. You might find that there are internal processes missing Because what you've done is you've identified some goals of fun, goals of compliance and some reflection stuff, but there isn't a process to drive. And one of the purposes of doing this is to find out whether you've actually forgotten to name an important process. Or on this table they've got a process which is project management, which is too big. So this might teach you that you need to take apart a process or add one in, for example. So that's one tip. Another tip is if you end up with lots and lots of connections going to one thing, obviously that's really, really important. So you may want to say, well, we've definitely got to have something that drives that goal, because everything seems to lead to it. So there are various little tips like this which will help you make your connections more succinct. Another one is you might find that you've got lots of goals which you should really be amalgamating into one thing, like you did with the cake earlier. And if it's one thing, you can think about it more clearly and see what's driving what by amalgamating it together. So think about amalgamating goals, think about looking where there are lots of connections happening, or think about where you might have left some gaps and left things out. Okay? It could, it's not so it's good to have a facilitator.
The most succinct time is this. The first one we did, yeah.
If you think it's you try doing it without an exercise to do, having an exercise to do deflects people away from having an endless discussion. There's endless trustee meetings, and you say, well, actually, no, we do this as an exercise.
And then
people focus on the task at hand and then they. Okay, guys, have we got one key connection?